Hey there, welcome to another episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast. Unfortunately, Tampa lost tonight, so that's kind of a bummer. Well, it's a big bummer because now they're down in the series 3-2, which really sucks, but it's hockey. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Um, I definitely don't. But the good news is we got the Bible in our hands, and we are about to finish the book of Deuteronomy. So, we finished chapter 32 last night, and tonight we start off on chapter 33. And the title for chapter 33 is Moses Blesses the Tribes. This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, pronounced on the Israelites before his death. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. Surely it is you who love the people. All the holy ones are in your hand. At your feet they all bow down. And from you receive instruction, the law that Moses gave us, the possession of the assembly of Jacob. He was king over Jeshurun when the leaders of the people assembled, along with the tribes of Israel. Let Reuben live and not die, nor his people be few. And this he said about Judah. Hear, Lord, the cry of Judah. Bring him to his people. With his own hands he defends his cause. Oh, be his help against his foes." About Levi, he said, "Your Thummim and Urim belong to your faithful servant. You tested him at Massa. You contented with him at the waters of Meribah." He said of his father and mother, "I have no regard for them." He did not recognize his brothers or acknowledge his own children. But he watched over your word and guarded your covenant. He teaches your precepts to Jacob and your law to Israel. He offers incense before you and whole burnt offerings on your altar. Bless all his skills, Lord, and be pleased with the work of his hands. Strike down those who rise against him, his foes till they rise no more. About Benjamin, he said, "Let the beloved of the Lord rest secure in him, for he shields him all day long. And the one the Lord loves rests between his shoulders." About Joseph, he said, "May the Lord bless his land with the precious dew from heaven above, and with the deep waters that lie below. With the best the sun brings forth, and the finest the moon can yield. With the choicest gifts of the ancient mountains, and the fruitfulness of the everlasting hills. With the best gifts of the earth and its fullness. In the favor of him who dwelt in the burning bush. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. In majesty he is like a firstborn bull. His horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he will gore the nations, even those at the ends of the earth. Such are the 10,000s of Ephraim. Such are the thousands of Manasseh. About Zebulun, he said, "Rejoice, Zebulun, and you're going out, and you, Issachar, and your tents. They will summon peoples to the mountain, and there offer the sacrifices of the righteous. They will feast on the abundance of the seas. On the treasures hidden in the sand, about Gad, he said, blessed is he who enlarges Gad's domain. Gad lives there like a lion, tearing at it at arm or head. He chose the best land for himself. The leader's portion was kept for him. When the heads of the people assembled, he carried out the Lord's righteous will and his judgments concerning Israel. About Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's cub, springing out of Bashan. About Naphtali, he said, Naphtali is bouncing with the favor of the Lord, and is full of his blessing. He will inherit southward to the lake. About Asher, he said, most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him bathe his feet in oil. The bolts of your gates will be iron and bronze, and your strength will equal your days. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides across the heavens to help you. And on the clouds in his majesty, the eternal God is your refuge. And underneath are the everlasting arms. He will drive out your enemies before you, saying, destroy them. So Israel will live in safety. Jacob will dwell secure in a land of grain and new wine, where the heavens drop dew. Blessed are you, Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord. He is your shield and helper, and your glorious sword. Your enemies will cower before you, and you will tread on their heights. All right, we do have one description here. Chapter 33, verse 29. Here is another promise of God's saving help. He fights on behalf of his people and defends them against their enemies. He assures them of ultimate victory. When our lives are in disarray, it is comforting to know that God has genuine concern for our welfare. And as we seek God and surrender to him, we can be sure that he is on our side. All right. So, this is chapter 4, last chapter of the book of Deuteronomy. And the last chapter we'll read tonight, even though that's going to be a really, really short video. It is what it is. So, chapter 34, the title is The Death of Moses. Then Moses climbed Mount Nebo, from the plains of Moab to the top of Pisgah, across from Jericho. There the Lord showed him the whole land from Gilead to Dan, all of Naphtali, the territory of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the Mediterranean Sea, the Negev, and the whole region from the valley of Jericho, the city of palms, as far as Zoar. Then the Lord said to him, this is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said I will give it to your descendants. I have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over into it. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in Moab, as the Lord had said. He buried him in Moab, in the valley opposite Beth Peor. But to this day, no one knows where his grave is. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. The Israelites grieved for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days, until the time of weeping and mourning was over. Now Joshua, son of Nun, was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moses had laid his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to him and did what the Lord had commanded Moses. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, who did all those signs and wonders the Lord sent him to do in Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his officials and to his whole land. For no one has ever shown the mighty power or performed the awesome deeds that Moses did in the sight of all Israel. Wow. All right. So that was the end of the book of Deuteronomy. And I'm not really sure what book comes next, but I'm pretty sure it's Joshua. So, with any speculation, I'd say Joshua's next. But let's go ahead and say prayer. Dear God, thank you for bringing us and to just read your book tonight. God knows I needed it. You know that I needed it, Lord, and I'm so happy and grateful that you put that in my heart, and I'm glad that I followed through on what you wanted me to do, and not just what you wanted me to do, but also what I wanted to do. Dear God, we just are just so thankful for the safety and health of our family, our children, and our wives, and just all of our family, Lord. And we just pray that tomorrow, as we're all just as healthy as we were today, and we just pray that we are kept in your mighty hands, Lord, and just safe and healthy, and just keep us protected, Lord. And we just look to you for comfort and your words, in God's name, amen. All right. So, Book of Deuteronomy is done. So, just to name a few, we read Job, we read Genesis, we read Leviticus, Man. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. We read Genesis. I don't know. I said Leviticus. So we read Genesis. We read Job. We read Exodus. We read Leviticus. We read Numbers. And now we've read Deuteronomy. So, pretty awesome. We're cooking. I mean, here, I just want to see how many. If we start at Joshua tomorrow, we are 274 pages into my Bible. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. But I hope you guys have a great and wonderful rest of your night. It is Wednesday night. Tomorrow's Thursday. We're one step closer to Friday, so that's always awesome. I hope everybody has a great Thursday, and I will talk to you tomorrow, and we'll start on a whole new book. Have a great rest of your night.